Sadly, I don't know what I pushed to find it just now. Sorry for the delay. Now I have to put this on mute. Okay, there we go. All right, back to the meeting at hand. All right, so land acknowledgement. This land on which we inhabit, is physically situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Tongva people. We pay respect to the Tongva and all indigenous people, past, present, and future, and their continuing presence in the homeland and throughout their historical diaspora. The struggle for liberation, justice, and reparations is how we truly give honor. Life and labor acknowledgement. We pay homage to those who who were stolen from Africa, placed in bondage, falsely named as chattel, and forced into labor, who were called slaves but never submitted to such, and have always been fully human with an unbroken connection to the divine and to each other. We honor our African ancestors for the still unpaid labor which built what is now the Americas. To both our indigenous and African forebears, we commit to the continued struggle for liberation and reparations, for it is through this and through freedom and justice that we truly give honor. Awesome. Now, there should be a link in the chat for you all to sign in. I'm going to click on real quickly. And I'm going to go here and copy this to everyone. I'm going to drop this in right now. Please click on the link and make sure that you've signed in. For the record, the meeting officially started at 5:38 p.m. Am I still sharing? Yes, I am still sharing. Awesome. Excuse me. All right, now, anything else? We're gonna need to move this on because it's almost 6 o'clock now.
We'll have quorum. Mariah says she's going to log in.
Okay. Okay. So while she's attempting to log in, you want to start the roll call?
Yep. All right, Mr. Malta.
Present.
Miss Anderson, absent. Miss Moore.
Present.
Mr. Diaz, absent. Mr. Outlaw, so absent. Sorry, hold on. Dr. Castillo.
Present. Present.
Okay. Myself, McDowell, present. Miss Dodd, absent. Miss Jackson.
Present.
Miss McIntyre, absent. Miss Narvaez.
Present.
Mr. Nguyen, absent. Mr. Donegan.
Present.
Mr. Campbell, absent. Ms. Martinez,
She'll be absent tonight.
absent. I just saw Ms. McIntyre come in. Can you please say present?
Present.
Thank you. And then Ms. Armienta,
Present.
Ms. Augustine, absent. Ms. Hawkins,
Present.
okay. Xavier is not here yet, right? And Caesar?
No, not yet.
Caesar is absent. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have quorum.
Okay. So the first order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. And if someone would make the motion, then we can have discussion. You can read right off the screen there.
I, Tonya McIntyre, motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting
With any corrections, deletions, or additions?
with any corrections, deletions, or additions.
Awesome.
I, Paola Armienta, second the motion.
It's been moved and second that the minutes be approved with any corrections or deletions or additions. Screen disappeared. Are we ready for discussion? Does anyone have any corrections, deletions, or additions to the minutes? And just as a point of reference, the minutes are always on the school's calendar. I'm sorry, the school's website. Let's go back here. Hawkins. hs.lusd.org. And I spelled it wrong. What did I do wrong? Hawkins HS. There we go. We'll talk about that later. So you go to our school, you go to council and committee. So there doesn't seem to be any further discussion about the minutes. So I'm just going to show you where they are and then we'll put it to a vote. Does anybody have any corrections, deletions, or additions? This time we met was December 12th. All right, so if you approve the minutes without any corrections, well, if you approve the minutes with any corrections, deletions, or additions, just type I in the chat. And it does help if you put down the topic of what you're voting on, I minutes. So when we go back and take a look.
I'm sorry, whose iPhone?
I think it's Xavier. But can you confirm?
Hey, Miss Morris Lee.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Just pick my babies up. I'm here.
Awesome. All right, we're going to mark you present. You are voting tonight. I believe so, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And where are you? People are showing. I'm gonna rename you so we don't get confused. This is getting on my
I
nerves.
count 11 ayes, so motion passes.
Awesome.
Zero
Good
noes,
job.
0 abstains. Nobody didn't vote.
Nobody didn't vote. All right. Perfect. All right. So next thing on the agenda is our, let me come back over here real quick. Sorry. Here we go. Go back here. We've already done any public comments. We did not have any. However, we did not have a student or community or other member than UTLA at the time. Do any of you have any comments that you want to make? Each category gets 3 minutes before we move on. Outlaw, you have any comments? Or I don't think we have a student online yet. Or any parents? Awesome. We're going to move on. Mr. Outlaw, you would fall under staff there, okay?
Okay.
Next. All right, so new business. If we had any parent or community members to confirm, we would do it at this time. Can I ask that we switch the agenda? Well, I don't have to. We don't have to do that, sir, except I need to check with the coach here. Can we do the community updates first since Ms. Castile has a ill family member she's taking care of, namely her little son?
Yeah.
All right. But Dr. Castile, are you ready to make a report right now, or do you have a report?
I can give an update.
Okay. So we're going to move you up on the agenda, okay?
Okay.
All right. Says here you have 14 minutes.
So just a quick sort of community schools budget update. There are going to be less funds. Right now it's looking like for next year there's about $8,000 that we're going to get that we can allocate. So I'm hoping that when we take a look at the budget needs assessment, that can help us decide what to do with the community school dollars for next year. And we don't necessarily have a word on 733T that we got, which, you know, was nice because we were able to send kids to camp and pay for PBL champions and whatnot. They're asking us to just send in priorities. So, for example, like if we want to prioritize a PSW or a PSA or a resource navigator, etc., then they'll try to ensure that they fund one of those positions for us. So Mr. Malta and I are going to meet tomorrow to discuss that, to fill out that survey. So that's an update on the budgets. In terms of events and activities, in thinking about the number one priority that we have for community schools and for Hawkins, which was safety, I'm hoping to plan a safety symposium, ideally in towards the end of February, but we'll see how realistic that is. I'm hoping to do that in collaboration with Council District 9. I have a meeting on Friday with them to talk through what some logistics might be. And we're coming up with a list of topics like from theft to traffic safety to know your rights, etc. And rather than being like a town hall where it can become a free-for-all, we're thinking more of a symposium where we can have rooms doing a workshop that's anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So we'll see how that goes. So I'll have more updates as that comes along. And then with Branded Arts, we're going to have our first meeting with the leadership team for that in January 21st. So that priority is moving forward, which kind of affects the other priorities too. And that's it for an update.
Awesome. Thank you for that update. Very thorough update. And so now you and Mr. Malta are going to be meeting to figure out, you said some other priorities for the community schools budget?
Basically with the, it's like the same that was like the collaboration funds. It's
Mhm.
through a grant from California. Um, they funded a second PSW for us this year, like a half-time work-based learning coach, all the PBL champion, the EGI champion, and then contracts for parent engagement, contracts for student leadership. That, you know, that's what we're using to send to camp. I don't know
Mhm.
what's fully going to be funded, but so far they've said they sent out a survey that asked us to prioritize positions. So Mr. Malta and I are going to meet tomorrow to look at that. But I'm hoping again too is that I sent the budget needs assessment response form to Mr. Nguyen, so hopefully he can get that back to us soon in a more sorted way that help us make a more informed decision.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any other questions? Um, Mr. Malta, can I also just make one other tiny change to the agenda there?
Yeah, go ahead.
The bell schedule for next week, the 14th to the 17th. I don't know how many, I didn't really see that many people who had replied back to the email just before we went on winter break. So is it okay now if we just take a vote and just make it official so that it's on the record that it was approved by LSLC?
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. Make
Okay.
it.
All right. So I'm going to get out of this real quick and go back into the agenda, which I said was online right here. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second. Come back over here. All right. Click on the agenda here. Oh, actually, I could just go back into the school's website. So, hold on. Arrgh, what am I doing wrong? Yes, what? Okay. So this is the schedule that was emailed to everybody on, I believe it was December the 6th, and then it went out again, I think on the 7th or the 8th, and then again on the 9th. And I did see a couple people that had voted, but I didn't really see that many people. So I just want to make sure we have one last look at this and make it official. The schedule that went back from this body to ILT and was approved by that group and several people on the email chain is that Monday schedule, the 13th, is not going to be all classes. It's going to be 1, 2, lunch, 3, and 4. Students will still get out at 3:23, parents. And then on Tuesday, we'll have the iReady middle of the year test. This will be the second of 3 tests that we take from 2024, 2025. This will be for all grades 9 through 12. It means that we're going to have CCR all day. Kids will get out at 2:23 like they normally do. The block 1 testing will probably be, I think we're doing English first, and then we take a break, and then we do math. Then we have lunch, and then they'll continue in CCR for the rest of the day. And then teachers will go into their professional development. And then Wednesday, we normally have period 4 in the beginning. We're going to go with 5, 6, lunch, CCR, and then period 7.
Sorry to interrupt you, Elisa. Did you mean to show it or are you just talking it through?
Oh, I did mean to show it. Thank you. There you go. My apologies. All right, so here's the Monday schedule with period 1, 2, lunch, 3, and 4. Kids still come to school at 8:30. They still get out at 3:23. They just won't have all their classes that day. Then on Tuesday, iReady testing all day. They still come to school at 8:30. They still are released at 2:23 p.m. Teachers will still have their professional development. And I believe we're having a faculty meeting or grade level, something to that effect also. And then on Wednesday the 15th, period 5, 6, lunch, CCR period 7. Kids still come to school at 8:30. They still leave at 3:23 p.m. And then Thursday and Friday are the schedules we already have. Those schedules aren't changing. So they'll have periods 1, 2. I don't think it's changing, right? No. So Thursday and Friday is the schedule we normally have. Period 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 5, 6, lunch, CCR, and then 7. Okay. So we just need to come to consensus that we all agree that this is the schedule that we're going to be following. It is the same schedule that we had last year. I believe it's the same schedule that we had at the beginning of the year, and it will be the same schedule we have for the end of the year. We just don't have the date or the week when that's going to happen. I don't think yet, but we want to make sure that we keep it consistent. So if you could just give a thumbs up in the chat there that you're okay with the schedule. All right, I'm seeing some thumbs up. We're looking for consensus here. Just type like agree to the schedule in the chat there, okay? Or if you see some thumbs, yes, put a thumbs up there in the schedule. Loving it. Now I asked you to put a thumbs up. How do I do it? Oh, there you go. I think. Let's see. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Thumbs up. I don't see where to draw it for me, so I'm just gonna say it. All right. Dr. Castillo said yes, and Ms. Jackson, thank you very much because I know I saw you were the first one that actually voted. So thank you in the email chain, you voted first. So thank you for that. All right. Looks like we have. I count 10 thumbs up and looks good, consensus. Dr. Castillo, you were also one of the people that voted yes in the email chain too. So thank you also.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I see 10 yeses for the schedule. So 10 yeses. I don't see any no's. I don't see any abstains. I don't see that we have any do we have any people that did not vote? Oh, let's see. Castillo, To Outlaw voted. We got everybody. Okay. All right. All right. So let's move on to the next item on the agenda. So that's agenda is officially approved. Okay. And you'll be able to find that on the school's website when you click. You just have to actually go in. It's as an alert, so it's the first thing you see on the page. You actually have to hit the X to shut it down to not see it. All right, spread the word. Please tell parents. We'll notify students during CCR. And I'm going to go back to the agenda. Am I still sharing? Yes, I am. All right, so we're going to go back to the budget item now. Mr. Malta, do you have any updates with us for us? Because I know the budget when we left in December 3rd, we were told how the budget deadline has been moved up by just about a month. And we're just getting back, not expecting a lot of fanfare, whatever, but whatever information you can share.
Yes, actually, we were hoping, well, let's start with our budget development window, and our appointment is January 23rd. So due to this appointment, our documents need to be uploaded by the 21st, January 21st. And you already know that the 20th is a holiday. So that is going to be challenging. And then the other part that is a little challenging was that they did not drop in our allocations until yesterday. So I have right now with me all the allocations that unfortunately I have not been able to process completely, just scanned. And it we knew that we were gonna get cut a little bit more. However, it doesn't seem to be a lot that I would be concerned with. Just because what's going to help us is the salary savings. Some of the positions that we still manage to keep and they still remain vacant. That is actually going to help us this time around. So I'm going to repeat the same priorities that I had with the budgets last year, which is going through all the positions first. Make an attempt to repeat having all the positions and hoping that we do not get into a situation in which we're going to have to decide what we're going to have to cut. And so I know Title One was concerning because it's a little less. And so I will be going through each one of those programs and I will be doing the same thing I did before, which is updating the Excel Google form that has the comparison between last year and this year, so you can check and see the amount that is given to us for this year, and that way you can compare where we actually have budgets that have decreased or maybe maintained. From the one that I was very concerned with was the TSP funding, because at first glance, it did look like it was less money. But then when I took a glance at the carryover, the amount is actually more. And I believe again is due to some of the salary savings. So due to this carryover allocation prediction, which they give us as a priority school 70%, that we can use is kind of sort of like credit on what is predicted that we are going to have in carryover salary savings. It looks pretty good. So I'm looking forward to actually updating that sheet that works for me, at least for me, to be able to explain some of those changes. So my goal again is to prioritize going through the staff roster and maintain positions. And then what Dr. Castillo was explaining has a lot to do with the fact that it was predicted that we were going to get cut, not just us, but every school in LAUSD. Therefore, I'm guessing that community schools knows that, and they're going to try to save schools having some of those positions that are committed by community schools that they deem to be necessary in every community school, such as the PSW and so on. So hopefully by tomorrow, when I meet with Dr. Castillo, or maybe with Dr. Castillo, I can update, and that way we can answer that survey that community schools wants us to fill out. So in case we are in need of funding or additional funding to fully staff Hawkins High School with those needed positions, then maybe community schools can support us in that way. But again, so far, Ms. Smith and I took a quick look at it, and it was a little alarming at first. But again, the biggest budget was TSP, and just very quickly, the net allocation for TSP, just because I have it in front of me, is $3,122,278. I'll type that in. That is that net allocation for next year for our TSP, which is our biggest budget that we use to fund so many things at Hawkins. And the rollover predicted that we can use 70% carryover that we are allowed to use during this window is going to be 7,800. So the 70% carryover is 789.33. And if you do have access to the sheets that I use for the budgets, you may notice that we pretty much are matching last year's budget. So that is very good news in this particular budget. That means that we're probably going to be able to afford the majority of the things that we have already this year. So that's my update right now. It's just hopefully, like I said, after I discuss this with Dr. Castillo, hopefully I will be able to update those Excel sheets. And so we'll send a notice to you so you can take a look at it. But we definitely need to establish another budget committee meeting soon. So that way we are on pace to go quickly through this process. Like I said, we do need to submit that right after the holiday on the 21st. So by next week, sometime next week, we do need to have an official meeting so it can be approved.
Yeah, we had a budget meeting scheduled for January 21st, so we need to move that up.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. And this is the budget you were speaking of. I think this is the one that you had for last year,
Yeah,
2024. Okay.
correct. So yes, if you click on the budget 2025, right next to it.
Oh, the tab there, I got it.
And if you just go to TSP right there, you're gonna see the net allocation and then carryover available. So move a little bit more. I can see you. No.
Am I scrolling down or moving left or
No.
right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right. You're right there.
Okay.
And you say
Oh, right there. Okay.
and that's 3,185,993. Plus we had a carryover of 507,592 to a total of 3,693,585. With these still on top of that, I think we had a little carryover extra 7,000 somewhere there. But the numbers that I just gave you, it's even a little bit more than what we had this year. You see that?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I'm
So
gonna click on 2024 real quick. That's not complete though. Oh,
yeah,
yes, it is.
for the
This
2020.
was the TSP index. This must still be 2025.
Yes. And I
Oh,
don't know why I didn't have the information for 2024 at that time.
yeah. Or maybe were you okay? Because on this one it's all 2025, but on 2024 it looks like it has 2025 and 2024. I'm going back and forth toggling between budget 2024 and budget 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So you must have just recently added this figure in here on the 2024 budget.
Yes, I did.
Okay. But we can't compare to what it was in 2024.
Not at this time. I'm not sure why I was missing that information.
Okay. Um, and what is, oh, that's the 1094.
Yeah, it gets split into those three budgets eventually. This
Right.
the 10552 gets split into three.
Okay. Maybe if you check your timeline up here, where it says last edited,
Mhm.
maybe it was there and you typed over it by accident, maybe?
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Okay.
But again, just going with current budget for this year, it looks like based on the predictions and the numbers they gave us, it's actually a little bit more that we're gonna
Okay.
get. 3,693,000 or so, and for next year, they're allocating us 3,911. And so that's very hopeful
Oh,
for
okay.
for me because it sounds like we are able to afford everything that we had. And if the other budgets like Title One and so on, they decrease a little bit more, hopefully
Mhm.
we can balance it out. I think what really helped us again is the salary savings. The fact that, you know, some of the positions were not filled. Unfortunately, that's going to help us for next year.
Okay. Now, Mr. Malta, I'm looking at the number you put in the chat for 2025. It says 3,122,
Uh,
278.
This is what I typed on the chat is for next year, 2025, 2026.
Yes, so I thought that's what I was looking at here on this
No,
spreadsheet.
that's this year's 2024, 2025.
Oh, you just made a copy of it.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. You haven't done anything with it
I
yet.
haven't done anything. I'm sorry. I haven't done the 2026. The next column has to be 2025 and the other column will be 2026 to reflect.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. In fiscal, they go by, you know, that year. They don't do 2025, 2026, 2026, 2027. They just go by the last year. So
Okay.
2025 is this year's.
Okay.
And like I said, by tomorrow, I'm probably going to add the 2026 column.
This thing is just jumping around. Okay. I was trying to get back to the document that had all
And
the programs in it.
if we actually, it might be a little easy meeting because again, I predict that the majority of the budget is going to go on positions just like
Mm-hmm.
last year. So there might not be too much to discuss during a budget meeting. So since we already had it scheduled for the 21st, but that's when we have to turn it in. If we're able to meet maybe on Thursday next week instead, that may be able, we might probably have the budget by then.
Is that going to interfere with the ILT meeting on Thursday? Or they're not meeting every Thursday anymore?
Yeah, they do. They've been having meetings every Thursday, but we might be able to skip that ILT meeting maybe.
Okay. Oops. But that was our time for this meeting. All right. I'm trying to go back into the agenda.
So would this need to be approved by the ILT?
No. It needs to be approved by LSLC, but we have a significant member on LSLC that is also a member of ILT.
Yes. So I don't know, wondering if we could do it on Wednesday instead of Thursday.
Wednesday is UTLA's meeting.
Oh, Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, and well, Wednesdays we generally have and not required to have meetings because of the UTLA has standing meetings on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
And that particular Wednesday, I can check and see if we have anything. If we don't have anything, then it should be all right. But I think we do because we didn't meet this Wednesday. So for the next 2 Wednesdays, I think House of Reps is meeting, stuff like that.
Okay.
So either Thursday. But now, Mr. Malta, what I'm hearing is that you just got the budget today or yesterday?
Yesterday, throughout the day, they were dropping it throughout the day.
All right. Would you have some recommendations for us to kick around come Tuesday, or that just seems too soon?
No, we're gonna have to. And like I said, my prediction is that a lot of the money is gonna go for positions. So I would probably feel okay to do it like I mean, we can shoot for Tuesday.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're being realistic and setting up a time when we can look at what you have, and also if there's any changes or if people, have other questions, that still gives you a few more days to go back and make changes if
Yeah,
necessary, and
you're
still
right. I mean,
make that deadline on the 21st.
yeah, let's go for Tuesday. Let's go for Tuesday. I think I'm okay for Tuesday.
Okay.
This Thursday, as a matter of fact, everybody knows that everybody's doing budget, so a lot of the principal duties are going to be focused on budgets. So they're going to help us, focus by not pressing us on other things.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go for Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday, we can meet. I can give you the majority of the information, if not everything. And then that way, like you said, recommendations can be made, or we can even agree on that budget and move forward with that.
Okay. All right. So we'll change that in the minutes and in the agenda, and then we'll change it on the website too. Well, does this body is this body okay with Tuesday having a budget meeting? Now, anyone's invited to the budget meeting. You don't necessarily have to be part of LSLC. But it's the budget committee, those who had been committed to being part of that committee, who wants to make sure that the priorities are being looked at as we're considering what the budget is to be.
Yes.
All right.
Which Tuesday was that? Sorry.
Tuesday, the 14th of January, 1 week from today.
What
Let's
time?
see, a Tuesday, yes. What time are we still going to do? 5:30? I think that works best with I think our parents and community and students said 5:30 was good for them. Is that still good for everybody else?
Yeah, that's fine for me too.
Okay.
Yes.
Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. All right. Okay. All right, Mr. Malta.
All right.
Got that taken care of. Let's see. Oops, looking at the wrong thing. Too many little tabs up here. Here we go, slides. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions about the budget? Make sure you bring those questions with you when we meet on Tuesday at 5:30 next week. Okay. So do we have any updates from restorative practices, PBIS? This is where you would chime in, Mr. Outlaw, or we would talk about the faculty meeting we had today where we talked about de-escalation, which I thought was, pretty good, very interesting. And had some helpful tips. Anything you want to add, Mr. Outlaw?
No, I'm good, Miss Moore.
You good?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay. So do we have anything to report about restorative practices? When's the next meeting? I believe they're on Wednesdays. That's probably Dr. Castillo that probably answered
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna wait until February to have our first meeting, so it'll be that first Wednesday of February.
Okay.
And then in terms of just general updates, the second training for the peer mediators is tomorrow. And then hopefully after that, Mr. Martinez will be able to establish a CCR of peer mediators that could then start supporting restorative circles and community building.
Awesome. And just for the record, tomorrow is Wednesday, January the 8th.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And then the first meeting, you said the first Wednesday, which would be February 5. And what time is that meeting going to take place?
9 o'clock.
Okay. And is that available through Zoom if people aren't able to be there in person as well?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Okay, I'll get with you later and get that information. Okay. All right, Co-Chair, I'm going to go to the next slide. I think that's the last of our agenda items. Unless, Ren, we didn't have you on the agenda for today, but did you have any updates with the group that you were working on? I think is it Hello?
Yeah, I met with Dr. Castillo right before the winter break and we did some planning. So we're gonna be starting a Helping Hawks Club, and Club Rush is kind of where we're gonna try to get some students informed about what the club is and do some recruiting. I'm still working on creating a flyer, but I'm looking forward to making progress with that this semester. I also wanted to say that I think that with the iReady diagnostics next week, that having the reading diagnostic first, in my opinion, is going to be supportive for emergent bilingual students who are trying to reclassify.
Okay, thank you. And do you know the date for Club Rush? If you don't, that's okay.
I wanted to say it's well, we had said that we were going to try to have our first meeting on the 21st, right, Ren? So I think it's that Friday before, but
That'll be
I
the
could be
17th.
wrong. Yeah.
Exactly sure that I'm
Yeah, I want to say I think
sometime
he tentatively wanted it for the 17th, but I
late
don't know
this
if that will
month.
still happen.
Okay. All right, we'll stay tuned for the date on Club Rush. Thank you, Ren. Thank you, Dr. Castillo. All right, the final 10 minutes. I think we did announcements already. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can we go back to PD schedule?
Oh, sorry. We did not do PD schedule. Take that back. You want to share screen or?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Okay,
I
I'm going to stop sharing.
need to pull it up.
My apologies. Did anybody have any questions about restorative practice or the next meeting or anything? All right.
I'm gonna find it.
Okay. So I stopped sharing so you can share.
Let's see, let me- Windows.
That's why I couldn't get in there. Oh, and please make sure that you signed in. If you haven't already, please do so. Let me check and make sure that we have everybody signature. Sometimes I check, me included. I look and I see, oh, someone didn't sign in. And there's me again. I did not sign in. Let me do that right now. Let's see, Dr. Castillo sign. See Miss Jackson. Ms. Narvaez, if you're here, need your signature. Thank you. Tonya McIntyre, got your signature. Akisa Hawkins, yay, got you. Ren, fantastic. Mr. Malta, perfect. And Kathleen was our interpreter. Kathleen Hernandez, I think is her name. Awesome. Okay.
Are you ready?
I am. Are you sharing?
Yep.
All right, I'm good.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if like LSLC only approves like the topics, or if you needed to approve like the actual schedule. So that's why I just wanted to bring this up. We haven't changed any topics, we just had to shift things around. So I know we already approved January, but we had to move some things around. So basically we just put in all of the district PDs into January so that we can be more conscious about our PDSA cycles for the remainder of the year so that it's not all because what was happening was we had the district PDs kind of scattered. Like if we scroll down to last semester's, right, we kind of had it scattered around, right, which meant our cycles were also split up, which made it confusing in terms of trying to keep track of our cycles, and so cycles didn't really happen the way we would have liked to. So our plan is to so you can see here we kind of mapped it out, but we don't have the like full topics for the PDSAs yet, if that makes sense. But we're mapping it out that each cycle would last 5 weeks so that we can have more time with both grade level as well as department. And then magnet gets pulled out once a month as well. So we thought the 5 week cycle would be able like help to accommodate like all of those things because magnet gets pulled out as well, if that makes sense. So that's kind of our kind of plan for the semester. We worked on this over winter break. But this is our current schedule for January that got kind of moved around.
Okay. So you said the dates of the PDs are the same. It's the topics.
No, the topics are the same. We just moved the district PDs. You see the group, the ones in blue. Those were
Uh-huh.
they were previously calendared, kind of spread out throughout the year, but we decided to move them all into January so that we can focus on our PDSA cycles for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And what does PDSA stand for those who don't know?
Plan, do,
Uh-oh, I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
plan, do, something, act. Forgot what the S was, sorry.
Study.
Study, thank you.
Yes.
And then with the 5 week, the last week would be R, so PDSAR.
Mhm. And just a little bit more on the PDSA cycle, basically is you plan your strategy that is going to be assessed. So when you do, you execute and then you study the data that came out of that. So you can go back to this whole cycle based on the data that you received. Did that strategy work? Yes or no? And then if it did, then you do another cycle. If it didn't work, then we have to revisit that and do something different.
This is almost like a lesson study where teachers
Yeah.
would say, I want to work on this particular strategy. We all get together, we watch somebody teach it, then we give each other feedback, that kind of something like that.
That is exactly correct, and that's what we
Okay.
were going for. We were trying to increase the the peer-to-peer observations, the study, lesson study cycles, and so on. So that's where this is going.
Awesome. Okay. And I saw today we were able to get in the a BSEP PD. That was great.
Yes, you need to see that on our calendar.
Mhm. Translanguaging mindset. Awesome. Now, are we doing all of the district PDs and they're not interfering with our PDSA? Is
So,
what it,
like I said, they're all in January now instead of spread out for the rest of the semester. So it's all January, and then the rest of the year is PDSA, and then there's going to be some pullout for we have senior defense this semester, things like
oh,
that. Some pullouts.
okay.
So you can see some of that scheduled in, and this is still tentatives. There might be some things that gets moved, but it's just kind of our overview plan for now.
Hmm.
That makes
So
sense.
it's the topics of the PD that LSLC
Okay.
approves, and we were saying that we were going to look at them like a month in advance. So we really should be looking at February right now. It's nice that we get to see the other months, but we do know that there's a possibility they could change, right?
So we don't have like the full topics yet. We're still like in this month we're gonna be with departments to figure out like each department's focus for their PDSA.
And then just as a note, because these district PDs look like they have some really engaging topics. It looks interesting, and so far we've had some really dynamic PDs. I think that our group has been sharing. But if it does mean that we have to not do one of the district PDs because we need more time for our PDSA, this body can approve a move like that if necessary.
And just to add, I made it a point to some of those topics be the same, but our coaches have been modifying the PD to fit the needs of Hawkins.
Oh, is that why they've been so perfect?
Yes, because they were able to edit them down. They get rid of a lot of the slides that they feel is too repetitive or we don't need, and they've been hard working on making the same topic and meeting the same objective, but tailor make it to Hawkins.
Awesome. I don't think anybody could argue with that. We need to always make sure that it fits our audience. But they have been very engaging and been hearing positive comments from staff too.
Good to know. Good to know.
Hmm.
Okay, so that was it. So then when we start to get our department's goals for the PDSA, then I'll bring that back to LSLC.
Awesome. Then I see a note in the chat about community school or PBIS restorative practice. We did have a restorative practice today during the faculty meeting. It wasn't PD, but it was, or was this an extended PD today? No, it was a faculty meeting, huh?
It was a faculty meeting. It was a mandated every school safe part of our everyday school plan.
Oh, okay. Was that modified? Because this was a good one too.
It was modified a little bit, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any objections, I guess, to uh, the PD schedule as it stands? You just type you approve with any corrections or changes. Or if you don't approve, you can say that too. Type it in the chat there. Approve PD schedule. Thus far. And if any of you have any suggestions about what the ILT should include for the topics on the PDs, if you're not able to share it today, then share it in the email with the LSLC group. I think, is that everybody?
Eight votes right now.
You said we have 8 votes. I see 12 here on the participants.
I see 9, 10, one more.
Mhm. I think Mr. Godwin is here though. Or is he gone? He was here.
I'm missing one person. We had 11. Did someone leave?
I see 12. I'm not sure the. Oh, no,
Okay.
Mr. Outlaw. There we go.
Okay, we have unanimous ayes.
All
0,
right. So 12 yeses.
11.
11 yeses. Okay. Did you just count Mr. Outlaw also?
Yes.
Okay. Who's the 12th person?
Mr. Gowan.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. All right. Go back to sharing this
Was
again.
that a vote? Because we didn't have a motion.
We did not have a motion, so we have consensus.
Got it.
Yes. We have consensus. 11 people all agree. All right, I want to move this along, if you don't mind, co-chair. So we're going to change that. It says our next budget meeting is the 21st. I'm in the final 10 minutes of our agenda here. 5 minutes for announcements, but we already did announcements earlier. But are there any other announcements besides the fact that there is iReady testing next week? And we also have interim assessment testing so kids can practice what SBAC will be like. And they'll be testing in their English classes the last week in January. The newest edition of the school's newspaper is going to be on the school's website there. And we have basketball and soccer and cheer is going to be competing the 18th. I think they're competing this weekend. And yeah, they're competing for regionals on the 11th. And then they have another competition on the 18th. Go cheer. Just change that right now while I'm looking at it. So that's going to be the 14th, not the 21st. And then our next official meeting after budgets, and then we can find out what happened in your meeting, Mr. Malta, will be on Tuesday, February the 3rd. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add? Mr. Malta, you want to adjourn the meeting?
Yeah, let's adjourn the meeting at 6:50 p.m.
All right, 6:50 it is. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Hi, everybody.
Alrighty then. Anybody still here left on campus, or am I the only one? Yep. Oh, wait a minute. Let me stop something here. We are done with. I'm trying to figure out how did I get to. How I got to.
The recording.
Yeah, I don't know what I did, but I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to click here.